So perhaps you've been looking for your figure you want to get from UCS set, but you can't really afford the whole UCS set. So you get on to check how much a UCS Razor Crest in G.A.R is, or a Phase 2 Captain Rex. And they used to go for like $100 to $150. And now for some reason, there is a Bricklink seller selling them for $75 to $50, and they have like 50 of them. Perhaps you've stopped by your local Bricks and Minifigures or other secondhand Lego store, or seen your favorite Lego Whatnot streamer have these monochrome or clear or colored crystalled minifigures of clone troopers or Darth Vader, etc. And you're wondering, where do these all come from? Well, they all come from the same place, and that's what I want to talk about today, because maybe some of you don't know about where those figures have come from. They come from, in particular, the Lego Mexico factory. So the Lego Mexico factory, although others have done it as well and been doing it, over the years has been doing a couple big things that have been impacting the Lego community. First off, they've been overproducing, I believe after hours, but we'll get into that later, desirable minifigures, usually, again, expensive minifigures from like UCS sets. I've known mostly that it's Star Wars, but I'm not sure if they've done more. Again, we'll get to that in a little bit. And then they've also been doing the monochrome figures. But what exactly are they producing? Like I've already talked about, how are they doing this? How long has this been going on, and what is Lego going to be doing about it, and how does it impact the Lego community? So first off, what are they doing and how are they doing it? The factory employees have been, like I said earlier, overproducing desirable figures. What I know, it's usually Lego Star Wars, as they usually get the highest dollar amount. They're in some of the most demand. And they will sell them to bigger resellers. I'm not sure how many levels it goes. I don't know if they sell them directly to resellers on Bricklink. Usually it seems like Bricklink sellers are the big people getting these big bulk of the desirable figures, but there might be another middleman. There might be multiple tiers of transactions, of brokers, I guess, as it were. Again, usually I've seen Bricklinks, but other people have done it, but I've usually seen it on Bricklink, or I should say the desirable figures. There also have been producing the monochrome figures. You've seen those, like those shiny metallic or the translucent crystal color figures over the years. Particularly, I've seen clone troopers and Darth Vader have it happen to a lot in the past years. Also TIE pilots, but there's been other things. Obviously, they are not released Legos. Lego are not going to release those, but they are 100% genuine Lego plastic made by Lego employees and sold on the secondary market. Through, again, this kind of backdoor spot selling to resellers. And they are kind of expensive. I think they're like $25 a figure or so. I was in my research for this video, I did see people or one person on Reddit call this the Lego cartel, and I think, unfortunately, that kind of fits pretty well for what's going on here a little bit, but I'll get into my thoughts on the nuances of it in a little bit. So they've been doing that. They've been overproducing. Again, I believe it is after hours. I don't think they're doing this on the clock. Again, they are using actual genuine Lego plastic, but I believe they're doing it off the clock, coming in like after hours and cranking out a bunch of like different figures. So how do you know, or what might be an indication of a figure being made at a factory being sold? So how do you know a figure is one being made at a factory and being sold on a secondary market in bulk instead of just from a Lego set? Well, one big one, the monochromes, obviously are going to be directly from the factory. Lego does not produce those. They don't sell them. So that is going to be directly, in particular, from Mexico. But again, I've heard that it's been from other factories, but Mexico in particular. Obviously, Lego is not going to produce those and sell those in a set because they just don't have really a market for it. Or they don't plan on having a market. There is a market for it, but they don't want there necessarily to be a market. But how do you know it's a figure that's been mass-produced, such as by the Mexico factory, of a regular figure? It is, again, usually a high-value figure that is currently in production. They don't manage to reproduce old figures. It is a figure currently in production. A big one that showed, honestly, the darker side, the greedier side, in my opinion, of the resellers, the greedy resellers, was last year's Captain Rex from the UCS vendor, and then the Microfighter. Before the Microfighter came out, I think that Rex was like 150, 100, and then they were selling them, I think, for like 50 to 75. But suddenly, again, 150, 200, and then suddenly a lot of people showed up with Rexes having like 50 of them, selling them for like, I think 50, 75, or 100, but without the pauldron. That is going to be a dead giveaway. When there's a desirable figure that is a good amount cheaper, like 25-50% cheaper than everyone else is selling them in bulk, and they don't come with an accessory like Captain Rex's pauldron or the helmet antenna, that's going to be your giveaway when they're missing, like, especially if they're supposed to have some sort of cloth piece and they don't come with a cloth piece. That's usually, but they're just genuine and it's brand new. That's going to be your biggest giveaway. And then also something like on Bricklink, when there's a seller, that's going to be a big giveaway as well if they don't have the pauldron, and also if they have a very large quantity, because, someone showing up with 50 Mandalorians that only are in the UCS Razor Crest is kind of abnormal. So that's one big figure. Again, those are the two figures that I know of right off the top of my head that have happened, is Captain Rex from last year, and that created a big fiasco because the resellers, why I said they were greedy, they flooded the rumor list when we found out we were going to get a cheaper Rex, way cheaper than their $50 to $75 value, going down to a $13 microfighter. They filled the leaks of that time, getting even leakers to get on their side, unfortunately, to try and drown out the microfighter with other leaks of like a fake 327th and then like a fake Z95 Headhunter and a bunch of fake set rumors to drown out the Rex's microfighter so that they could still get that last few sales of an expensive Rex figure, which is very unfortunate and is not very honorable. And again, I'll kind of talk about that later. So that is how it happens. How long has it been going on? This, unfortunately, I am not sure of. I know at least that LEGO has been making bricks in particular in 2006, and then in 2009 they moved production to a new 45,000 by M2 factory in Monterrey, Mexico. It is now the largest LEGO manufacturing facility in the world, which I did not know about, which kind of makes sense now why they have been able to get away with it for so long. Because if you have the largest if you have literally the largest LEGO factory, I mean, you potentially have, and it supplies North America. This factory is potentially producing, I would assume, 50 to 75% of North American LEGO sets. That means you have so many factory lines. So it's like, yeah, a few people sneak in on the weekends and produce a few extra figures on the Star Wars line. Not exactly super noticeable. I didn't realize that they had the largest LEGO manufacturing facility. Definitely explains how they were able to get away with it for so long. I don't think it started immediately, but I do believe it had started by the middle of the 2010s. I think I remember hearing about it back in like 2016, 2017. I'm not sure. Again, I apologize. I'm not sure. That's not really information. Obviously, LEGO doesn't really want you to know about it. It's not really information you can easily find in the internet, and I could not find deeper stuff of what the first minifigure or the minifigures that have been massed, sold from the Mexico factory to resellers. I don't really know that. I know in particular, though, it has, as the LEGO hobby in general saw a huge increase from COVID and the higher demand and people getting back into the theme. I know it's been happening since then. Big surprise, as every other figure has. So what has LEGO done about it? It seemed like for years they really didn't do anything about it. I don't know if they just expected it to go away. Obviously, when they have bought Bricklink and these Mexico employees are selling them and they end up getting to sell it resellers on Bricklink, LEGO still is making a much smaller but tiny profit on it. So it's not like they're completely losing money, although if they go to a non-Bricklink seller, they are going to be completely losing money. But when it's, this backdoor thing, and then the sellers are on Bricklink, they are making a tiny profit, but probably not near as much as, obviously it being there. But it does appear, I think, what I've seen, and I haven't really heard of it, I haven't been paying attention to see, I haven't looked on Bricklink to see if there's any of the newer figures. I think LEGO has been cracking down on the operation more recently. I haven't heard it. The last big one I heard of was Captain Rex, and I think between the resellers doing that and different stuff, I think LEGO has been trying to crack down more on the factories in particular, not doing that, not overproducing them and sending them and then reselling them to resellers. I think they've been really cracking down on that, but I'm not sure as of yet. Because, again, I haven't looked at some of the more expensive figures right now, but as far as I know, I think Captain Rex was kind of the bigger one. I'm sure it's still happening, but I think they're kind of cracking down on it to the scale that it was. So how has it impacted the LEGO community? I think it's been a bit of a mixed bag. I think the monochrome figures are very cool, and I've seen them sold at my brick and mortar secondhand LEGO stores and whatnot sellers who are great people, honestly. I don't think they have any nefarious things. Like, I've seen them on Maddie's minifigures. I don't think he's in any way nefarious or trying to be unscrupulous person trying to use Mexico to their advantage. I think he just comes across them honestly buying from other people. Again, I don't think these people or these stores are getting them directly from Mexico. The resellers from last year are kind of an undeniable part of the story, though, and undesirable part. Lying purely for profit is not very honorable, and it is not the basis of good money-making principles and God-honoring principles that, honestly, in history, most of the time, if you honor God's principles of how to handle money, you usually do well. And when you try and cheat people and are dishonorable and deceiving, you usually end up coming to want. So hopefully that doesn't happen for them. But if they're going to continue to put greed and lying over being honorable, hopefully. Anywho, we'll move on from that. Has the Lego factory black market, as it were, reselling of Lego minifigures been a good thing or a bad thing for the community? From a moral standpoint, I don't think it's a good thing. I can't really condone it. Those employees, I would assume, hopefully, they're not doing it on the clock, but they might be. They're also at least stealing the plastic from Lego and for making these figures, if not worse. Again, maybe being on the clock, and that's really dishonest and dishonorable, and I can't really condone that. The resellers lying about sets last year was pretty low as well. From a collector standpoint, though, I think it's cool to get the monochrome figures. And I mean, yes, it's nice to be able to get desirable figures at a cheaper price, but at the cost of moral standards, I don't really like. So please let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you think it's okay, if you've enjoyed it, if you don't think there's a problem, or if you think it's a big problem and it should really stop because it is morally a moral wrong that's going on here. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you have not already, if you've enjoyed this video. And truly, guys, I will catch you guys next time.